Well, hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another stream and another chapter. Chapter 2, I believe. Working on this guy here. It could be chapter 3. I kind of lost track. I've been doing a lot of stuff. I'm going to run the intro. We'll get going, okay? No, run it. No, please. Oh, come on. Don't do this. Please. No. No. Just, come on. Why do you have to? Just, come on. Just do it. Just, would you? Okay, we're back, and yeah, we're back, and we're going to continue on this. We've been doing a bunch of printing. You guys have watched me, you've seen the process, printing off our little AA guns. I actually, you know, this was attempt number 1, where this part just became kind of torn off of there. It's actually wanting to, let me change the camera, you can see this a little up close and see the failure on this, okay? Okay, so as you can see here, this guy here is kind of pulled away. This is lifted up as it was almost like a peeling process. So this is kind of a failure. Even if I were to glue this down like that, this is still pulled up and doesn't look proper. And of course we have this side, which is just paper thin, and yeah, and there's nothing to it. So yeah, this one is just, this is garbage. Okay, so we go print number 2. Print number 2 is a very kind of similar thing, although we solved the problem with this one peeling up. This is fine, but we see all this goober stuff going on there, and it really reveals the fact that this is kind of hollow on the middle, and that's why we've got these extreme thin lines and thin layers. And which is why this side, which is right here, this side also failed. This guy's supposed to go in here like this. This is also a failure. We got a hole down in the bottom here. Even if I glue this on, this still is not a problem. Although we solved the problem on the back side, this part here, which got broken off. On our first attempt, it broke off here, just trying to remove the supports, where we solved the problem on this one, okay? But it's still not perfect. Our gun barrels, of course, they print just absolutely fine, okay? You can clearly see one, we printed a little bit bigger, right? This guy here is a little bigger, much bigger. So we have that issue. So what I did is I went on the online program called Tinkercad. Okay, Tinkercad. Tinkercad allows you to create three-dimensional objects. It's very simple. You can even start off with simple things like just a block or a round cylinder or something like that, and just play around with them and you tinker with them, right? Anyway, sometimes when you have a 3D file that you've downloaded, it happens to be more than 25 megs in size, that's too big for Tinkercad. So Tinkercad is kind of restricted, it's a little limited, but sometimes you get away with it. In my case, this thing happens to be less than 25 megs in size, than the file, and so it allows me to actually import it into Tinkercad and play around with it a little bit. So what I did is in Tinkercad, I made this thing a lot more solid. Okay, I made that a lot more solid, and in this little area up in here where all of our little controls are, let me change the camera back. All of our little controls. This is a very, very delicate and thin little thing. It's just kind of barely held on. It's very, very flexible and flimsy. So I put in a little block in here in Tinkercad, and made that so this is a lot more solid. It's going to be a proper anchor. And the other thing I checked out is when I look at this and I compare our size, remember I was measuring in between our two roll bars, and I was measuring it against this part here and here to make sure this would be able to fit. But you look how tiny this thing is in the back of this truck. That's pretty tiny. This thing should, if this was real, this should take up most, if not all, of the back of the truck. This is just going to be a little bit too small. I mean, you think realistically, this is supposed to be a seat. These are seats that you sit down in to control this thing, right? And these things are tiny, so these should be pretty big. So what I did after doing that, I saved the file and I sent it to back to my computer, and I have resized this. So this is my now third one. It's currently printing right now, and it's going to be much bigger. And what I did is I took our gun and I just kind of shaved off, I cut off a little edge like this on it so that I can have it flush against there when I put it in, and have it on an angle so it doesn't have this great big gap. If I just kind of take that off there, break that off so you can see the gun is going to go in at this kind of angle, and I don't want to have that big triangular gap, so I cut it on Tinkercad. I just cut it off on an angle so it can go doink, and it's going to be roughly something like this. Okay, so that's enough blabbing about the whole, AA gun that's going to go in the back. So these are all junk. And this is the problem. I'd say, it's not a problem. But this is the thing with 3D printing, and when you're experimenting and doing custom things, sometimes you wind up printing garbage. It happens. That's kind of the nature of the game. So, with that being put aside because we're waiting for it to print, we'll actually move on and start actually doing some assembly on this truck. We're going to start with the engine. Now, just about 5 or 10 minutes ago, I did primer everything. So we're going to, it should be dry. So I primered it all in gray. I didn't want to do black because, well, you guys, suddenly everything's black and you guys can't see any of it. And I don't want to just, don't want it like that. Where's my engine? We got to do the engine block. Let's change the camera. We'll get started on this, okay? So our engine block, pretty obvious. You start with your two halves here. I'm going to change my glasses just because I don't want to keep taking them off my face every time I want to look at something. Okay, so let's get our engine halves off of here. Now we're going to see how well does AMT make these line up. It's not bad, but we need to do our cleanup. Got to do our cleanup like we normally would with everything else. Of course, this model kit is one of those where the main attraction on this kit, when it's all done, of course, it's not going to be the engine under the hood. It's not going to be the fantastic detail in the interior. It's going to be the big gun in the back. And it's going to be the fact that it looks very old and rusty. Two halves of the engine go together pretty good. I always hate the fact when they do the oil pan molded in like this. I like it much better when they have the oil pan as a separate part. But you don't always get that luxury. I mean, ideally, I would love to see the transmission as its own thing, or, you know, two halves of a transmission. I'd like to see the bell housing as one piece and the oil pan as one piece. That's what I would really like to see. But you don't really get that very often. I think you only get that kind of thing in 3D resin engines. There's our two halves together. Okay, so let's find our cylinder heads. That's going to be I-23. Find our numbers, 23, 23, these two. Both the same number, which tells me there is no left or right. They're just going to be oriented different. And then C24 cam cover. Now, these look like the same things. These are 24, but I thought I saw them on the chrome sprue. Nope, we do not. This is a rare engine. We don't have chrome valve covers. Usually these kits, almost all car kits have chrome valve covers. Doesn't matter what it is. But not this one. Maybe the valve covers on the real truck are black or something like that. It's possible. Now, of course, I didn't do the best primer job. I got a spot on here that's totally white, no primer at all. But it's not important. Okay, so how is this supposed to go on? If I do that, and then I've got no... Our exhaust ports, this is just a V6. Our exhaust ports go there, but they hang off the edge. That's really disgusting. How the fit on the heads is really terrible. You don't want to sit down on the block at all. I don't think there's... It might be left and right. It looks like, going by the picture here, it looks like our exhaust ports are supposed to go towards the back. They're not quite centered, right? There's this little bump there, but their heads just don't fit. These little bump that's supposed to line up inside here just doesn't. Maybe there's an ejector pin inside the head here. This side's fine. Nothing in here. Got a little pin here. So that could be causing that, but let's grab the intake. I want to see the intake. That's I-72. Let's find that. Here's our intake. Maybe our intake will help guide the heads to their home. We will find out. Intake manifold. Yep, we got this great big pin that's going to go down there in the center. So their intake goes like that. And then our head goes on here. So it doesn't really help in my endeavor to get the head into the spot it's supposed to be. It does help, but it's not great. I hate how it hangs over the edge. And I got an injector pin here underneath. Let's flatten this head out. Same here on this one. Put that back on there. Even the intake, it sits up. It's got a big gap in there. And of course, it's not the most precise fit. Even though they've cut the hole so that it's flat on one edge and it's only a half circle, and they've done the same with the pin, but you could literally do this with it. So yeah, great job guys, that's precise all right. Let's put some glue on this. Get this sort of kind of in its spot. Get that head put in there. There we go. There's one side done. Not exactly the best lining up. I mean, it's close, but I suppose I could say it's not bad. Maybe I'm spoiled. I've been assembling 3D engines, or sorry, 3D printed engines, and the precision on them, of course, is a lot better. Okay, so there's the cylinder heads and the intake manifold installed. Now we can do our valve covers. I'm just going to preemptively shave these down. Without even test fitting. I'm going to assume they're not flat. There's going to be ejector pin. Doesn't look like there's any ejector pins. Which is, oh, there's one on this one, which is now gone. Good. All right. So the one with our little oil cap on it is supposed to go on the driver's side towards the front. Now that lines up nice on the head, so that's nice. Okay. And then this one looks like, okay, we got a little half circle, and they don't show it on the front, so I'm assuming the half circle goes towards the back. That's all I can assume since it's not showing on the front of the engine. This thing's got an enormous front cover on it. Which is H28. And then we have our distributor. So let's find H28. It's a great big thing. It's hard to miss this guy. Huge front cover on this engine. It's that guy there. And then we need 92 and 107. It's our distributor. Now they got letters beside all of the part numbers, but the letters actually could distinguish a color code instead of a tree. So that could be very well be it. Let's find our, I'm trying to find the distributor. I need number 92 and 107. Fortunately, they put them right beside each other. It's a weird sprue they put them on. The sprue that has the the front bumper variant. So these two are going to go together. It's not often you see a two-piece distributor. Now, one thing I hadn't even considered was wiring this engine up and doing our spark plug wires. I hadn't even thought of that until just grabbing this distributor, and I thought, well, am I going to wire the engine? I mean, I could. Our distributor is very not detailed. This is clearly a, you can always tell, how many exhaust ports do you have on the engine? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Obviously this is a V6 engine, right? But our distributor looks like it's for a 4-cylinder. It looks like I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5th for the coil. It doesn't look like a V6 distributor cap at all. In fact, if I was really being picky, I'd say it's only got 2 bumps for the wires. In any case, I think I should do my due diligence in wiring the distributor, or wiring up this engine. We should at least have spark plug wires. You know, I have reached a point in my model car building life where I put valve covers on backwards. Come on. The 2 round bits on the valve covers are supposed to go forward. They're supposed to line up with your engine cover. And technically they should reach the front of the engine cover if you can get them to. Now where does the distributor go? The distributor is supposed to kind of, they showed the distributor just going into the nether regions over here. They show it just kind of sitting right here in this spot right there, like as if it's like just kind of just glued on right here, like just go doink and have it sit there, as if there's supposed to be a hole in the top of that, but for this, or a slot for this to sit in, but there's no slot. It's like they forgot to mold a hole right there. Anyway, we're gonna worry about that later, because right now we're gonna drill a hole into the distributor cap, and we're gonna get some spark plug wires in there. So I'm going to take my knife, first of all, and kind of do a little pilot hole. I want to do one in the center, one in the very center. Here, I'm going to shave this off, this little nub they've got going on, and do a little pilot hole right there. I'm going to actually get rid of all 3 of the nubs that they've put on this. Okay, so there's my first. That's for. Then we got one here. One here. 2. 3. 4. 5. One right here. 6. Okay. Now I gotta get my pin vices. So get my little set that I got off of Amazon out here. These guys. Got these on Amazon. When you buy them, you get 2 sets. So even when you break one, inevitably, it's still, you get spares. Now you can start by doing this by hand and just twist them. I don't like doing that. I like going the power route because I get because my hands are not that steady. So I'll do this. I like using my little Wave Corporation Handy Router Mark 1, USB powered. Just like that. Okay. These just happen to fit perfectly in there. Okay. Now just do it on lowest setting. Start with the center. There we go. There's one. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. One more. We need one more. 7. There we go. We got 7 holes for 7 wires. Here we go. Down here for now. Alright, so we've got our holes drilled there. We've got to think about holes for our spark plugs here. So I want to take a look at the exhaust manifolds and see how they fit on here to give me an idea of where I need to drill on the actual heads. Okay, so let's just put these all aside and find in the book where we put their exhaust manifolds. Oh, I didn't, it's right here. So number 25 and 26, let's grab those pieces. 25 and 26, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Looks like maybe you guys here. 25 and 26, good. Let's get these off of here. this guy goes on this side, and so he's going to line up right about here. So my spark plug holes can basically just go right in between each one of these bumps. See, right here, here, and here. Okay, you go to this side, looks like it's going to be the same deal. This guy's got to go like that on there. So right in the middle, right in the middle, and right in the middle. Okay, pilot holes are drilled. Now I got to get my tool back out here. See, it's a good thing I didn't put it away yet. Just like that. There we go. Holes for our wires. Now, I'm going to do a little test fit. The wires I plan on using, I'm going to use these guys. Let me get my tweezers out so I can get one of these wires out. Now this is actually something like 10 or 12 gauge electrical wire, but we'll pull out an individual strand, and that works perfect for a realistically sized wire. Let's see if I chose the right drill bit. No, it does fit. It's a very, very tight fit though. So I could go one step up on my drill bit size to this size and just kind of get in there and make these holes just that much bigger. And then I won't have to worry about fitting it. Just that much. One, two, three, four, five, 6, and 7. There we go. Okay. So that is it for our spark plug hole drilling. So what I'm going to do is get some CA glue. Now of course my CA glue, my tip has completely plugged up. And I've got like gel glue inside my tip, so that always happens to me. I'm sure it happens to a lot of guys. So I'll just pour a little bit in here. There we go. Don't need a lot. Now of course I need to make sure my threads are clean, otherwise this will get glued and then I'll be screwed. So, take a wire, dip it in here, and put it in one of the holes, just like that. Okay, I'm going to do that with all 7. Let's pull the rest out of here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and yeehaw! I don't even know where that went. So 7. Sometimes I find even after I dip the wire in the glue, I still need to apply more afterwards to really get it to hold. Like my first one needs to be redone, I think. Yep. I always have to give them a test. See, the second one is kind of loose too. It might take a few. I think I'll go around to all of them afterwards and put some more glue on them all. See, that one stuck in right away, but I'm struggling to see is the last two. There we go. And there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to apply a little more glue to each one of them with my little patented applicator here. Sure they all stay put, because there's going to be a little bit of force pull put on these as we bend them and apply them and bend them around the valve covers and stuff. There we go. Okay, so we've got plenty of glue on that now, so we're just going to set that down and let that cure. I'm going to wipe off my applicator, and we're going to soak up the remaining amount in here with a Q-tip. These Q-tips, for some reason, they cause a chemical reaction very similar to using something like this. And I don't know why. Okay, so if you want to make sure, you can use something like this stuff. This is a fast curing spray to make it so if CA glue doesn't dry fast enough for you, you can give it a little squirt with that. Okay, and that helps it. So these are all nice and stuck in there now. Now though, I got the whole issue of this. I want to put that in there, but we've got a little rectangular plug and I've got no hole here at all. So I kind of want to make one right about there for it to go in. Do that, and I'm going to start by drilling a little hole with a bigger bit like this. Okay, I'm through. Now we're going to kind of carve ourselves kind of a oblong rectangular hole here. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I need it to be able to accept something in there. Even if I take that rectangular thing and shave it down to make it rounded, at least I could shove it in there and glue it. At least it'd be something for it to actually hold on to. I'm getting something that resembles an oval hole now. It's, you know, it's going to be something at least. It must be after 6 a.m. Airplanes are starting to take off. And sure enough, it is 20 after. I'm just slowly carving myself a little bit of a rectangular sort of kind of hole. You can see that there. A little bit of a hole I got going on there now. Right. We'll do a little test fit and we'll see. How close am I to getting this to fit in there? It's not bad, we're close. A little more work. So I am a little bit restricted here too, the thickness of the plastic. Which could be one of the reasons why they didn't bother carving it. But I don't know. It's always a mystery why these companies do the things they do. Okay, let's do another test. I'm almost at a point where it'll go in. I think width-wise I've got, or lengthwise I've got it. I could very well almost squeeze that in there. I think if I shave this down, actually, if I kind of just cut this edge off and this edge, I might be able to wedge that in there. There we go. All that digging and cutting and everything, and I've got a spot for it to actually go in now. So with a little bit of glue on it, it should actually stay. It actually might be able to shove in there a little bit better too. The glue, you know, kind of acts like a lubricant a little bit. There we go. It's the glue, you know, actually melts the plastic a little bit. There we go. We have our distributor in the side of the front cover. Just like it's supposed to be. Like that. So I'm going to use my other glue, my thicker stuff. To actually put on the front of the block here. For pins to go through. And there we go. And I'll use some thin on the edges so it glues against the head. That. And there we go. So there's our front cover on the engine block with our distributor in there, just like it's supposed to be. Now they would have me put the top of the intake manifold on right now, but it is chrome and I want to remove that chrome. In fact, I want to get rid of all the chrome on this truck. Now there's a couple of ways you can get rid of the chrome. A lot of guys get rid of their kit chrome because they feel it looks too much like a toy, because the chrome is super reflective and shiny, you know, like real chrome on a real car is. But that is not the reason. That's not the reason why I'm going to be getting rid of the kit chrome. I'm going to get rid of the kit chrome because this thing is supposed to be old, and probably all the chrome on this truck would have been gone bye-bye years ago. And so it'll be a little bit easier to do rust and stuff like that over top of painted chrome rather than the kit chrome. So that's why I'm going to be removing the chrome on this. Even looking at the reference photo here, the rims are not supposed to be chrome. They're supposed to be like a gray color, but yet they've done them in chrome. So I'm going to remove that. I will keep the chrome on the mirrors though, the side view mirrors, because hey, why not, right? So I'll keep that, and of course the rear view mirror, I'll keep that chrome too. I don't know what these two other pieces are here. They could be the tail lights, the tail light housings, and so I'll keep those. But the rest of it is going to go bye-bye. Yeah. And so with that, I think this is probably where I'm going to leave it for today, guys. Still got a couple of more engine parts to put on, but I need to do some painting on the engine. As we get more and more things put on there, it becomes harder and harder to paint the detail. So I want to just leave it like this for now, let this dry, and then I can paint this all aluminum like it should be, and yeah, we can move on from there. So when we come back, you guys are going to see my 3D printed gun should be finished, and we can see how that goes. And so I want to thank you guys for watching. Thanks for coming out. Thank you for the support and the new subscribers. Thank you guys. I love seeing your comments too, so please comment, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Watch more of my stuff too. Don't just skip through all the stuff. I need the watch hours, guys. Come on, please. Anyway, I really appreciate you guys a lot, and thank you again for all the support. And yeah, that's going to be it for now, and we'll see you all in the next one.